I never thought life would force me into a choice like this. Love or family, two things that meant everything to me, standing on opposite sides like enemies. And the worst part, I knew that choosing one meant losing the other forever. It all started so simply. I met him at a time when I wasn't even looking for love. He was kind, understanding, and he made me feel seen in ways no one ever had. Our conversations felt effortless, like we had known each other for years. Slowly, without even realizing it, he became a part of my daily life. Every morning began with his messages, and every night ended with his voice. He understood my fears, my dreams, and my insecurities. For the first time, I felt like someone truly chose me. But love doesn't always come at the right time. When my family found out about us, everything changed. Their smiles turned into silence, and their silence turned into pressure. They didn't see him the way I did. To them, he was a risk. To me, he was everything. They started questioning my decisions, my values, even my character. "This is not right," they said. "You will regret this." Their words felt heavy, but my heart refused to listen. I tried to balance both sides. I tried to keep my love alive while holding on to my family's trust. But slowly, the gap between them grew wider. He asked me one day, "Will you choose me if it comes to that?" I didn't answer, because deep inside, I knew that day was coming closer. If you've ever been stuck between your heart and your responsibilities, don't skip this story, because the hardest decision is still ahead. The pressure didn't come all at once. It built slowly, like a storm forming in the distance. At first, it was just small comments from my family, subtle warnings wrapped in concern. But soon, those words turned into serious conversations, filled with disappointment and fear. They reminded me of everything I owed them. Their sacrifices, their trust, their expectations. "We raised you with values," they said. "Don't throw it all away." Each sentence felt like a weight pressing down on my chest. At the same time, he was still there, holding on to us with the same love as before. He never forced me, never pressured me, but I could see it in his eyes. He was scared of losing me. I was stuck in the middle, trying to hold two worlds together that refused to coexist. Every night became a battle inside my mind. One side whispered love, memories, happiness. The other echoed duty, respect, family. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't silence either voice. One evening, things reached a breaking point. My family sat me down and gave me an ultimatum. "It's either us, or him." Those words didn't just hurt. They shattered something inside me. I looked at them, the people who had always been my support, my home. And then I thought of him, the person who made me feel alive. How do you choose between your past and your future? I realized then, no matter what I choose, I will lose something I can never replace. And that fear started consuming me completely. I delayed the decision as much as I could. I kept hoping something would change, that somehow both sides would understand, that I wouldn't have to choose at all. But life doesn't always give you that option. The distance between me and him started growing. Not because we stopped loving each other, but because the situation was slowly breaking us both. Our conversations became heavier, filled with pauses and unspoken fears. One night, he asked me again, "Are you going to fight for us?" This time, I couldn't stay silent. Tears filled my eyes as I tried to speak, but the words felt impossible to say. Because the truth was, I was already losing the strength to fight. I loved him, there was no doubt about that. But the weight of my family's expectations, their emotions, their pain, it was too much to ignore. And then I realized something that broke me even more. Sometimes, love is not enough. That night, I made the hardest decision of my life. I told him, I couldn't continue. There was silence on the other side of the call. Not anger, not begging, just silence. And that silence said everything. I didn't just break his heart. I broke my own. The days after that felt unreal. Like I was living in a life that didn't belong to me anymore. Everything looked the same. My home, my family, my routine, but something inside me had completely changed. I tried to act normal. I smiled when I had to, spoke when needed, and pretended everything was fine. But deep inside, there was a quiet emptiness that never left. My family was relieved. I could see it in their faces. They believed I made the right choice. And maybe, in their eyes, I did. But no one asked me how I felt. No one saw the part of me that stayed behind with him. I would sometimes open our old chats, read our conversations, and wonder what life would have been like if I had chosen differently. But some questions don't have answers. They just stay with you. Slowly, I started understanding something important. Sacrifice doesn't always feel heroic. Sometimes, it just feels painful. But life doesn't stop, and neither can you. So I began rebuilding myself, piece by piece. Not the same person I was before, but someone stronger, someone who understands that choices come with consequences. I chose my family, but a part of me will always remember the love I had to leave behind. If you ever face a choice between love and family, remember, whatever you choose, make sure you can live with it. Because some decisions stay with you forever.